Dear students, a very good morning and Assalamu alaikum to you all. How are you everyone? I am fine by the grace of Almighty. So, after starting your final term, already you have learned one chapter, that is chapter 13, Population of Bangladesh. In this chapter, you have learned many interesting and informative things. Yes, and in your last class, your teacher discussed about the broad question answers and short question answer from this chapter. So, in today's class, I will be discussing about competency-based question that you know as CBQ, filling the blanks and matching. So, all of you are ready for doing today's class? Very good. But before starting today's class, I will be taking one review of previous class lesson. And I will check whether my dear students are learning their lesson properly at home or not. So are you ready to face the challenge? Very good. So let's start. The very first question for you. What was the population of Bangladesh in 2001? Very good. Smart answer. The population of Bangladesh was 12 crore and 93 lakh in the year 2001. The next question for you. How was the population of Bangladesh in the year 1991? Perfect. Very good, students. In the year 1991, the population of Bangladesh was 11 crore 14 lakh. The next question for my students. What is called the density of population? Very good. The amount of people who live in per square kilometer in a country is called the density of population. My students are very genius and I get that they are preparing their lessons properly at home. So I'm so happy with them. So students, let's go for the next question. What is the annual growth rate of population of Bangladesh? Very good. The annual growth rate of the population of Bangladesh is 1.2%. Then last and the final question. Yes, how many people live in 1 square kilometer in our country? Can you give me the answer? Excellent! 1,140 people are living in 1 square kilometer in our country. Bravo, my dear kids! You performed wonderful. So now it's time to start our today's topic. Are you ready? Lovely kids, before starting the class, let's know about the learning outcomes from this class. After this class, we will be able to answer the competency-based question answers from chapter 13. Again, we will be able to answer the filling the blanks from chapter 13. We will be able to answer matching related to chapter 13.
Never before in history have there been so many people on Earth as right now. Our numbers have skyrocketed from 1 billion in 1800 to 2.3 billion in 1940, 3.7 billion in 1970, and 7.4 billion in 2016. The world population increased fourfold in the last century, so what can we expect for the next century? And what does population growth mean for our future? Will there be mass migration, overcrowded slums in megacities covering continents, diseases and pollution, chaos and violence over energy, water and food, and a human species focused only on sustaining itself? Will population growth destroy our way of life, or is this prophecy just ungrounded panic? In the 1960s, population growth reached an unprecedented rate, which led to apocalyptic prophecies. The poor would procreate endlessly and overrun the developed world. The legend of overpopulation was born. But it turns out high birth rates and the population explosion are not permanent features of some cultures or countries, but rather part of a four-step process the whole world is going through: the demographic transition. Most developed countries have already made the transition, while other countries are doing it right now. Let's go back to the 18th century, when the entire world, including Europe, was in the first stage of the demographic transition. By today's standards, Europe was worse off than a developing region, suffering from poor sanitation, poor diets, and poor medicine. A lot of people were born, but lots of them died just as fast, so the population hardly grew. Women had between 4 and 6 children, but only 2 of them would reach adulthood. Then the Industrial Revolution happened in the UK and brought the greatest change in human living conditions since the Agricultural Revolution. People went from being peasants to workers. Manufactured goods were mass-produced and became widely available. The sciences flourished and advanced transportation, communication, and medicine. The role of women in society shifted and created the conditions for their emancipation. Slowly, this economic progress not only formed a middle class, but also raised standards of living and healthcare for the poor working population. The second transition stage started. Better food supplies, hygiene and medicine meant people stopped dying all the time, especially so at a very young age. The result was a population explosion, doubling the UK's population between 1750 and 1850. The main reason families used to have lots of children was that only a few of them were likely to survive. Now that had changed, so the third stage of the transition was set in motion, fewer babies were conceived, and population growth slowed down. Eventually, a balance emerged. Fewer people were dying and fewer children were born, so the death rate and birth rate became stable. Britain had reached the fourth stage of the demographic transition. This didn't only happen in the UK. More and more countries went through the 4 stages. First, many births and many deaths due to bad living conditions. Second, better living conditions leading to fewer deaths and a population explosion. Third, fewer deaths resulting in fewer births, and population growth came to an end. But if birth rates have dropped so much, why is the population still growing so fast? Well, the children born in the population explosion of the 70s and 80s are having kids themselves now, leading to a noticeable spike in overall population. But they are having far fewer children on average than their parents. The average today is 2.5, it was 5 40 years ago. So as this generation gets older and fertility declines further, the rate of population growth will keep on slowing. This is true for every country. In the West, we tend to overlook progress in other regions of the world, but actually most of the world's countries have made it to the 4th stage. Just look at Bangladesh. In 1971, the average woman had 7 kids, but 25% of them would die before the age of 5. In 2015, the mortality rate was down to 3.8% and women had only 2.2 kids on average. This is the rule, not an exception. We're not special, we just had a head start. It took developed countries about 80 years to reduce fertility from more than 6 children to less than 3. Others are catching up fast. Malaysia and South Africa did it in only 34 years. Bangladesh took just 20. Iran managed it in 10 years. All these countries that are catching up didn't have to start from scratch, and the more support they get, the faster they catch up. This is why programs that help lower child mortality or help poor nations develop are so important. No matter what your motivation is, whether you dream of a world where all people live in freedom and wealth, or you just want fewer refugees coming to your country, the simple truth is that it's beneficial to you personally if people on the other side of the globe can live a good life. And we are getting there. The percentage of people living in extreme poverty has never been as low as today. So the future of global population growth is actually not an apocalyptic prophecy at all. It's a promise. Population growth will come to an end. The UN forecasts that the 12th billionth human will never be born at all. And as the development level of the world rises, the number of people with a higher education will increase tenfold. Countries who used to be in need will help advance development instead. More people is going to mean more people able to advance our species.
Students, as I have told you earlier, today's lecture number will be 50. From chapter 13, Population of Bangladesh, we will be discussing about CBQ, FB, matching. Okay, so let's get started. The first CBQ question for you is, Saima has two sisters. Her parents are very worried as they have no son who will help them in future. This is the example of which reason of rapid population growth? Describe it. So, this type of question answers, you need to use your creativity. As you have gone through the whole chapter, I hope you can rearrange and write the answer. Hopefully, yes. Yes, dear. Now, I will show you a sample answer for this question. The answer's first para may be written like this. Bangladesh is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. We are facing various problems due to overpopulation. Wanting more male is one of the main reasons of overpopulation. From the question, the fact we can see is the social reason of rapid growth of population. Social reasons also include lack of education, child marriage, polygamy, etc. After marriage, females cannot stay with their own parents. They want plenty of male to look after them in old age. In some cases, they want male children as more as possible. To remove such types of problems from the society, girls and women should be given proper knowledge and education. In the last para, you can write like this so that they can understand the harmful effects of rapid growth of population in our country. Thus, rapid growth of population can be controlled. So students, have you seen how I am giving the sample answer? Yes, you all know that Bangladesh is very much populated. Yes, so many people are living in this small area, right? Yes. So in the village area especially, people have this type of mentality that in their old age, if they have more and more boy child, that means male child, they will look after them. What will happen for female child? Yes, female child will get married and they will leave their parents. And they will not be able to give any financial support to their parents. So we should get out from this type of mentality, right? And for this reason, girls and women, they should be given the proper education and proper knowledge so that they can also participate in earning in the family. So this is how you can rearrange the answer. The next question for you. Nowadays, overpopulation of Bangladesh becomes curse for the standard of life. Write down the impact of population growth on the standard of life. So how can you write the answer? Any idea? Okay, Miss is showing you a sample answer. The impact of population growth on the standard of life is described below. This is the introduction part. The first point you may write like this: due to rapid growth of population, the number of consumer increases. That means previously population was more and consumer was less, and now population is more, so consumer also increases. This second point is scarcity of food occurs. Yes, as land is limited, right? Land is not increasing. So, in that limited land, farmers can produce limited amount of crops. So, they cannot increase the amount of production, right? So, what happened? Farmers cannot meet the demand of that increased population. So, there is scarcity of food. The next point, see, because of the scanty supply of food, People suffer from malnutrition and poverty. As people are not getting enough food, so they are suffering from various type of problem. Here I have written about malnutrition and poverty. The next point is parents cannot provide sufficient clothes for their children. You know that if in our family there is more children, so for middle class family or lower middle class family, or those who are living below the middle class, that means in the lower class family, if they are having more children at that time, as their earning is also limited, right? So they face problem to meet the demand of all the children in the family. So parents cannot provide sufficient clothes for their children. The next point, population growth leaves impact on residents too. Yes, what happens here if there is more population, so they need more money. So at that time they cannot afford good living facilities also, right? At that time they have to live in slums, like that type of places. So in conclusion, you can write like this. So we can say population growth has huge influence on the standard of life. This way you can rearrange this type of competency based question. Okay, dear, you have seen in your second term exam you get many creative questions. Yes, those are not from your book directly or nor from the sheets provided. So you have to increase your creativity. Now let's go for sample filling the blanks and see. Here is the first filling the blanks for you. In 1974, the population of Bangladesh was filling the blank. What will be the answer, dear? Can you tell? Very good. It was 7 crore 64 lakhs. So the answer is in 1974, the population of Bangladesh was 7 crore and 64 lakhs. The next question for you. Based on the density of population, Bangladesh is in the dash position. As you have learned the chapter before, so can you guess what will be here in the place of filling the blanks? Very good. Excellent answer. It is 11th. Based on the density of population, Bangladesh is in the 11th position. The next question, dear. The population of Bangladesh has doubled over dash years. What will be the answer? Excellent. It is 37 years. The next question. The growth rate of Bangladesh is now dash per year. Guess what is the answer? Very good. Absolutely right. It is 1.2 percentage. Now another filling the blank for you. In 2011, the density of population was dash per square kilometer in Bangladesh. What will be the answer, students? Very good, smart answer. It is 1015. So the answer is in 2011, the density of population was 1015 per square kilometer in Bangladesh. So can you see and can you recognize that these all lines are from your book? Yes. So for answering filling the blanks, you should learn the reading practice. You should go through the book lines very carefully, right dear? Yes. And those who have done reading practice properly before, they can relate that they can answer each and every filling the blanks perfectly. And each and every line, you know, from your textbook is very much important. Yes. And obviously, whenever you are answering filling the blanks in your exam, you will be writing the full sentence. Okay? Now, let's go for the next one. Yes. Now, we will be doing matching. Okay? With the left side, we will match the right side. So in A, what is there? The total population in 2001 was, with this left side half sentence, you have to match from the right side. So can you guess which one is matching? Very good. Baba, very good. So see, it's going that the total population in 2001 was 12 crore 93 lakh. Excellent performance. Then in B, it is at present the increasing rate of population is. Which one is matching? You have to match from the right side, from the first or second one. Yes, which one? Very good. 1.2% per year. Yes, you are very clever. One is left. Illiteracy, early marriage, and prejudice are the social reason of overpopulation. Excellent. Yes, your performance is absolutely great. So that means you have enjoyed this chapter, right? Okay. So, dear, whenever you will be answering matching, at that time, what you will be doing? Yes, you will write the answer in full sentence. Okay? Okay. Now, dear students, your today's class discussion is over. So now, what to do? Yes, now I will be asking you one question as your feedback of today's class. So, what impact does population growth have on education? Write in 5 sentences. Can you do that? Excellent. Population growth has negative impact on education. Many children do not get the opportunity of education. If the number of schools are fewer in comparison with the population. Again, if the number of people in a family becomes burden on the income of the family, children are deprived of education. Moreover, they are compelled to work in order to support the family financially. Thus, overpopulation leaves damaging effect on education. So this is how you can use your creativity and rearrange the answer. That was all about our today's class. Now it's time to take your homework. So today's homework number is 28. You will learn and write CVQ number 2 from chapter 13 and you will read all the items of chapter 13. For today our class is over. Your cooperation was wonderful throughout the class. I'm really proud being your teacher. So hopefully you will be very much prepared because you all know that after finishing each and every chapter, what your class teacher used to do? Yes, your surprise test may happen. So take a very good preparation and hopefully all of you will score wonderful. Hopefully we will be meeting again in another new video class. Until then, goodbye.